Hey, what's up everybody? This is Brett Raymer from the hit show Tank, and you need to watch my guys Jack and Dan. Those guys are off the charts, and you guys will enjoy what those guys bring to the table.
Hey guys, it's Jack and Dan. We're in Jack's room. We're going to show you how we do a little water change. Having this little crazy Aqua-Bridge thing here on Jack's tanks makes it a little bit complicated. Not too crazy. We're going to show you some tips and some of the things that we do when we do a water change. Guys, what happens is sometimes the turtles and fish go down in here, and if you do a close-up here, buddy, you can see they carry some of that sand kind of down in here. What that does is that blocks our under gravel lights a little bit. So how we fix that is take this big guy off, this little like diffuser thing, and we're going to take the little part of this and we're going to stick it right down in here. Now I already have the water running on this, and if you don't know how a python or that kind of thing works, it's very, very simple. We do have other videos about it, but we can kind of show you. So basically this is going to just suck that sand up out of there. It's real simple. Just put it down in there and it's just going to kind of basically suck that sand along with some water. You can kind of see how it's getting that out of there. And so what that's going to do is that's going to open that up. So not only are we doing a water change, you can see how it's just taking that sand right out of there. So what that's going to do is that's going to open that up, and voila, just like that, we now have better light coming out of that area. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So that little tiny bit of sand is going to either get caught in that trap or just flow out. It's a tiny little bit. I mean, maybe there was a teaspoon in there at the most. I wouldn't recommend doing a lot of it at once or very often, but I've been doing this for years. We never had a problem with our drains or anything like that. So the other part about this is, if you take a look at Jack's bridge here, the problem is this is full of water. Now this is not a large amount of water, but if this water right here in his tank comes down below that, that water will then dump into this and it could possibly overflow it. Okay? Now you'll notice as I was sucking water out of here, this tank, if you look over here in this tank, it also kind of equalized the pressure. This bridge works kind of like a siphon. So if I take the water in or out of one tank, it's going to equalize it because they're exactly equal. So if you take a look at these tanks here, this one's going down and this one's going down. So if I continue to suck this out, what's going to happen is it's going to equalize. Once I reach the bottom of this, basically then it's going to dump into the tanks. Now there's not enough water in the bridge to overflow them, so we're just going to go ahead and see what happens. Go ahead and point it on the bridge, kind of back up a little bit so you can see. And make sure you can see the bottom here. And we're just going to suck some more out. No, back it up so you can see both of them. Oh. There you go. So we're just going to kind of see what happens. As you can see, as I'm taking the water out of this one's coming down a little bit too. Make sure you got it on there, and we're going to watch and see what happens here. No, both of them. All right, ready? Whoop.
Turtle got in it.
Turtle got in the way. Okay. Back it up and show them both here. All right, ready? Almost there. It's equalizing, but right here you can see it's almost come down. Now what's going to happen is your bridge is going to empty. Show the bridge and everything so they can see. No, the whole thing. Back it up. There you go. Ready?
Oh, jeez. Scared me.
That's what I wanted you to see. So it basically dumped that right out, and as you can see, there's not enough water in there to overflow them because it came down. So now just this tank's going to go down, and then we're going to have to do that tank separately. Now as you can see, we can just pick this up. This is just free floating here. You can see too there's a little bit of sand in the bridge, because when those guys go up in there, sometimes they carry some sand on their shells and stuff like that. Just want to show as we're siphoning out some more out of this tank. I'm not going to go past that drain because I don't want the filter to lose its prime, but as you can see, the filters are pretty clean. Because we've been turning the filters off while we feed them, a lot of stuff isn't getting caught in there, which is really, really ideal. And so I don't necessarily clean the filters just because I'm doing a water change. I wait until I see them kind of, I mean, if it's barely dripping off of there, but as you can see, it's pouring off there like a champ. And the striated loaches are absolutely digging it. Look at these guys. They're hanging out on their pirate ship, and they're totally digging that current, man. That is so funny. That one dude was fighting it forever, and then he finally gave up, and then this dude keeps going back and forth. Yeah, they love that current. It's very funny.
That's their pirate ship. They're pirates.
They have completely taken over that pirate ship, those striated loaches. It is hilarious. They're like the pirate loaches, and they don't let anyone else on it, and that's their little deal.
But half of it's covered with air, so they cannot go on that half.
Right now, yeah. So we're, at about half, and so we're going to start filling it up. Basically, you add 5 milliliters per 10 gallons. Since this is a 20-gallon tank, we took half of it down. We're starting to fill it back up. A lot of people would like dechlorinate the water first, then add it, all that kind of stuff. I've been doing this a long time. I'm pretty good at telling the temperature of the water. If I put it right in the middle, I know that it's right about the same of where my tanks are, because I know my water tank, I know my house, I know my tanks. So I put it in the middle, I start filling it back up. Once I get up a few inches, and I went from about 50% up to about 75%. I'm going to take this 5 milliliters here, measure it out, and just going to hop that in right there where the siphon's going.
You can see it in the water. It's
yeah, it's a little bit warmer. I like to go a little bit warmer. They seem to like the warm water. During water changes, seems to stress them out less. So a little bit warmer. I watch my thermometer, pour that in, and that's going to help dechlorinate that right away. I know a lot of people would say, oh, it's very unconventional. It's not best to do it that way, but doing that way my whole life, never had a problem ever. So real simple, quick water change. You shoot your stuff in, you fill it back up. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill, you can see this one here is filled all the way to the top, all the way. This one's going to be in a minute. What we're going to do is when we put the bridge on, we're going to suck the air out of it. It's going to take some of that water down. Okay, so we just cleaned the bridge real quick, took only a couple minutes, took it in the sink, cleaned it up, rinsed it out. We're going to turn it back around. We're going to pop it right back in here. And we filled the tanks really high, so we did leave our siphon handy, because if we suck the air out of the bridge, it may take the water level down a little bit too much. I'm going to get it up in there so it's nice and high in the bridge, past the little angle there up into the middle. It's just not cooperating today. Ah, there it is. Bam. Okay, that's what you want. Now you hold it there.
okay,
nice. Suck it out.
out. Woo.
All right, there you go.
Have you ever swallowed any water?
Sure. I've been doing this a long time, man. Many times.
Oh, there's fish in there.
Is there a fish in there already?
Yeah, there's a calm fish just running out.
Okay, so it's that simple, really. Just suck the air out and you're good to go until another water change. So just kind of position it here, and that'll kind of level out your water. So this guy right here, as you can see, just a little bit shy. So when you suck that water out, so what we'll do is we'll put the siphon in there, just top that off another 1/2 centimeter, and then we're done. The filters are running awesome. That's it. I mean, it literally takes 15-20 minutes, even with this kind of complicated double tank setup. Even with this complicated double tank setup and the bridge and everything, as you can see, it's really not that hard. And now your bridge is crystal clear because we rinsed it out, wiped it off. Tank's good to go.
And
Fish
since
are happy.
this is white, every once in a while you just have to wipe it off.
Yeah,
you just have to.
yeah. There gets some like dry water marks on it, so we just throw it in the sink. And as you can see when you look down in here, since we sucked that extra sand out of there, again, just a tiny amount, but we sucked it out, so now those are nice and bright.
So yeah, the lights you can see better.
We'll show you here.
The lightery.
We'll turn the top lights off and we'll turn the room lights off. And that's the only thing you got to do, especially if you have sand in these under gravel kind of lights. You just kind of suck it out once in a while. And you can see they're nice and bright now.
And the what loaches are there?
Striated loaches.
The striated loaches have their shit back.
They have their shit back. So, anyway, hit us up in the comments if you have any comments or questions at all. But honestly, doing a water change on this tank, as weird as it seems, it's really not that much harder. You just got to pop the bridge off, clean it, pop it back on, suck the air out of it again, and then you're good for another few weeks. Sometimes even a month. It just depends on how we're doing. The bamboo roots are growing really good in this tank, so they're really helping to keep, you know, the water changes down. The filters are really good. We got an Aqua-Clear 50 on this one, Aqua-Clear 50 on this one, 2 big bamboo plants in each one, and really just not overfeeding. That's the big thing, you know. Don't overfeed your fish. These guys are doing awesome. Look at that little pleco stuck to the inside of that, or the outside of that. That's funny. One of the main ways in this big tank that I know to do a water change is the rope fish pretty much stop swimming. They just hang out. Immediately, you can see right there, they start poking their heads out. As soon as the new water starts to come in, they love the way that feels. And right away, they'll start swimming around. Look at that parrotfish go down in there. What's he doing? He went down in there. Usually he doesn't squeeze down in there. That little one. That one's kind of like the runt of the tank there. It hasn't been growing much. But anyway, right away the rope fish are happy. They start swimming around. They'll probably come out there and be swimming all over the tank here in a minute because they love the water change. This little guy here.
And I was just chasing Lacey, and you can't catch her. She's too fast.
You'll never catch her, dude.
But
never.
She's tired out now. So.
This little guy usually goes in the Aqua-Cave. He doesn't like the commotion of the water change and everybody swimming around. He usually goes in here and cleans out the Aqua-Cave a little bit. And everybody else just real happy to get the fresh water. And again, I only change water about once a month. This is a really big tank. We got the bamboo rocking and rolling in here. Big, huge 110, two 110 Aqua-Clears on it. I top it off when it evaporates with fresh water, but honestly, don't really have to do water changes that much. And yeah, you'll see the rope fish start swimming around here in a minute, because as soon as that nice, warm, new, fresh water starts going in there, they just love that. Stidgy was in his cave. He came out to see what was going on. He's like, new water, dude, what's up? It's nice and warm. He'll be swimming everywhere here. Won't you, buddy? He loves the camera. He's always hanging out right by the new water when it's going in there. We got a, I think it's a 25-foot python. Goes all the way to the laundry room. Around the corner there, but yeah, going real good. Going real good here. These guys are loving it. Yeah, just a quick little water change video. It's not as hard to do a water change in this now because we don't have the penthouse up top. Bamboo's doing real good. It's all touching the ceiling there. We turn the light on so you can see. It's pretty much all touching the ceiling, so I'm gonna have to trim that, especially this guy over here. Trim that down a little bit. It's doing real good. Starting to grow some roots. Not as many roots as in Jack's tank. Got some in here, these guys, and then some of these little guys are kind of starting here a little bit. But just took a little bit longer to acclimate. Jack's bamboo's got some huge roots, so that's doing really good. Yeah, they're doing really good up there. Getting plenty of light coming in from the windows. Doing awesome. A lot of these little clown loaches are getting bigger in this big tank, but some of them are still going down there in the lava rock. That one's just peeking his head out there. They go down there where the air comes out and hang out, but now I got the camera on, so he's not going to come out. They don't like the commotion of water change. They usually hide. There's the big one. The little ones all went down in there. They have been hanging out outside though, and a lot of times they go in the goldfish bowls. There's one over here. He was just in the goldfish bowl, and then he went down in there with the there he is. Went down in there with the rope fish. But a lot of times, a lot of the clown loaches have been hanging out in here. And the big clown loach does too a lot of times. When I wake up in the morning, that's usually where he is. When the little alarm clock lights turn on, he'll be down in there in one of these goldfish bowls. Seems to like it a lot. Look how big these guys are getting. Beautiful fins on these guys. Doing really well. Look at this one. They got a long way to go. They're still only about, I've seen them twice this size. They keep eating good and getting along, probably get really, really huge. There's a couple of the clown loaches. They just came out. Yeah, they don't like the commotion of the water change. They'll go down in there and hide. Oh, there's one. I think his head just popped out. They just kind of hide in there. And look at that leopard pleco just rocking that sail. Well, there he is. So very graceful. He never spazzes out, nothing like that. He's just incredibly graceful. Puts up with all these other guys. Look at that sail. That is something, isn't it? Wow. I'm just going to put it down because I was talking about it, of course.